Can you tell us a little bit about when you came out of Russia, what the trip was like, and
What life
Yes,
in Russia before
and what life was like in Russia before you came out?
I remember Russia, well, I was 11 years old when we came, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember Russia quite well, yes, yeah. I remember that everybody was so poor, the communists took everything. So we had a scale from the ceiling hanging down, one of these scales, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody got a half a pound of bread. So that nobody would starve to death, you know, until the MCC came. The MCC came, and then we had to go to the center of the village, pick up cocoa and rice and bread. That was really something. Yeah, that if you wouldn't have had that, maybe we wouldn't have made it, I don't know. But we did make it, yes, yeah.
Right.
And of course, we all came out of Russia legally. And at that time, 1923, 24, 25, 20,000 Mennonites came out of Russia. And they were, Mr. D.B. Jans worked in Russia, and Mr. Taves worked in Canada, and we got out legally. And the CPR, the Canadian Pacific Railway, they paid for every one of us, the whole trip. And then, of course, we had to pay it back.
Sure.
Yes, yeah.
that was the Reisesschuld, right?
It was a razor short, yes, yeah. And some of the Mennonites, of course, they weren't that honest, they wouldn't pay. Then the rest of us paid everything. So the CPR got interest on everything. So I remember the time when they came to Colville in our church, and Mr. Beatty from the CPR, and we thanked him, B.B. Jans thanked him at times for what they did for us, you know. Yeah.
Sure.
That was interesting.
So could you tell me, where did you first move to here in Coaldale? Like where, Grandpa and you and the family?
You know where John Hubert lives?
John and Dorothy?
John and Dorothy,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Anyway, we had 2 rooms and we were 8 people. And we had a contract to work sugar beets for 8 years, $35 an acre, thinning and hoeing and topping. $35 an acre. And of course, we had 3 teenagers, we could work. Not only thrashing, but we worked in hay, we worked stooking, we did everything on the farms. And all that money went to Dad. He had a store, and all our money went into the store, yes, yeah. And that's a store that my brother John and I bought from Dad. And when we were finished, we had 6 businesses in Colville, yeah. So that was, we came to Colville in 1929, but we came to Canada in 1924. We had been in 5 different places, in Hespeler, Kitchener, New Dundee, Manitoba, and then Dad bought a farm for 2 years. It took him exactly 2 years to go broke. And then we moved to Colville. And then we started making money, yeah. Then we started paying a razor short, yeah.
Right.
So was Grandpa Franz Hubert here already when you came?
Oh, yes.
He was
Yes,
he
yeah.
was already established
He
here.
had that half a section all the way to where we lived, on that corner.
Yes.
I often sat in the evening with Peter Hubert. He was irrigating with a shovel, and I talked about it. And he loved to talk about girls, but he never got married.
Oh, that's his son Peter.
That's
Yes.
old Mr. Hubert's son Peter, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
My uncle Peter.
Yes, your Uncle Peter.
Yeah, there
Well,
was
when
Uncle Peter and Aunt Mary and Aunt Elizabeth
and
lived with Grandpa.
yes,
in-
yes.
in
They
their
never
place.
got married either, no.
No.
No, Uncle John didn't work for him. He had a job just north of here, across the river,
Oh yeah.
by the month, you see.
Oh.
But Jake, your
Well, I'm
dad,
assuming that Uncle John worked for you because we got this one picture of the thrashing crew,
yeah.
and Uncle John is there, and you're there, and my dad's.
Is
on the ground.
Well, maybe he did work there too sometimes, but most of the time, see, I worked there for 6 years for Hubert's, only thrashing.
Well, Uncle John being Uncle John, he may have just come there for the picture.
Maybe, I don't know.
Just kidding.
Anyway, I worked there for 6 years for the same wage. Every year the same wage, $1.50 a day.
Yeah. Wow.
And no raise.
I was lucky to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had pitch bundles, yeah. You don't know what pitching bundles means.
Yeah, I know. I was just a little guy then, and I saw this. You know, the stooks would get thrown onto
Yes.
a hay wagon,
Yeah.
and then they would be brought to the thrashing machine, and then the guys would throw them into the thrashing machine, and the straw would come flying out
Oh,
one
yeah.
end.
Everybody had a straw stack in those days. There's no such thing as combines.
And there was a tractor there with a long belt
Long wide
used,
belt that
that
wide, yeah.
used to travel and
Yeah.
make that thrashing
Yeah.
machine do its thing.
And you know, I had a team of horses and I had a hay rack and I did that. And sometimes I was what they call a spike pitcher. Two of us had to throw in sheaves into the machine, you know.
Yes.
And then I got 25 cents a day more. And with that money, all the rest of the money, of course, went to Dad, you know. That money, there we got good food. Mr. Hubert believed in meat. And we, of course, everybody was desperately poor in those days. You can imagine $1.50 a day for work. And the freight trains were full of men going. And when the police saw them, they told them just to get out of town. Didn't let anybody get off the train. They wanted to get out of them because they're looking for work. They came from Saskatchewan. They had no work here. And here we had the sugar beets and other vegetables we grew here, so people had more work here. Yes, yeah.
Sure. So tell us about your interaction with our grandfather, Franz
Well-
Franz Hubert.
Well, I remember that he grew watermelons. He always had another man, Mr. Newfield. He both grew watermelons. He had watermelons that long, and one day we said we wanted to have watermelons for lunch and rollkuchen. So we had a good feed, but we could hardly make it till there's no power in that, you know. So we could hardly make it till the evening, yeah. But he had very good food all the time, and he was a very good man. And I remember it's
Good to work for.
To work for, very good. And we all slept in the hay on the top of the barn, and it's full of hay. We always slept in there, yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we would just lived a mile away from him, yes, yeah.
So did you go home or did you stay?
No, we always stayed there. We had to get up early and get our horses ready, yeah, yeah. So,
Okay.
but I can't tell you too much about it, except that he was a very kind man, you know, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind man, yes.
So tell us a little bit about my grandfather as a businessman. You were a businessman here in town, so
I'll tell you
he
what,
got involved in the cheese factory and a number of other things.
We had a bad experience with that. We flew to Ontario to Winkler. There they grew onions. So we had a man here who knew all about onions. So in Bow Islands, about 60 miles from here, we grew onions and we borrowed $25,000 from Mr. Hubert. Because he borrowed us, because we had a business and we were making money. But he was very careful. He would have been an excellent banker, yes. He was a good man. And we borrowed that $25,000. Of course, we lost every cent of it too. But we paid him back.
So did he loan out a lot of money to people?
A lot of money to people, yes.
So he came out of Russia with money.
Oh yes, yes. He didn't come among those 20,000 that the CPR paid. Some people paid their own trip, but most of them, the CPR paid for that trip. Yes.
Oh, so he was not part of the CPR group.
No.
He had money paid for his trips,
yes, yeah.
And came with some
But
money.
he was a very smart money, and he knew who to borrow and who to not borrow. And I'll tell you one case where, I won't tell you his name, I know his name, and he says, "How are you going to pay me back?" Well, he says, "Once my pigs are ready, then I'll sell my pigs, and then I'll pay you back." And later he found out those pigs hadn't been born yet. Yeah, but he was an excellent man, very, very good. Had a good sense of humor, yes. But otherwise, I don't know too much to tell about what I remember. But he used to go to church, and he got saved through Mr. David Pankratz.
And how old was he when he got saved? Do you know?
This I don't know. We were living in BC then already, so I really don't know.
So it was later in his life, though.
Later in his life, much later, yes. But you'd never know that he wasn't a Christian. That's how good he was, yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he was involved with the cheese factory when it started.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't. No, most likely they maybe borrowed some money from him too, yes. I know all about the cheese factory, because we used to go and pick our cheese for the store. All the big round ones, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember, and the vat, had a great big vat, of course, the milk, and then the chunks, made it into chunks like that.
Big curds.
Yeah, big curd, yeah. And I loved to take it out of there and eat that stuff. After they had salted it, yeah. You know, and they got several prizes in Canada for that cheese, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But what else he did there, I don't know, yeah.
So, can you tell us anything about Grandpa as a family man? You know, his whole family grew up here.
Yes, not too much, except that there's Henry and there was Jacob. John died early, as you know.
Yes.
And Henry and Jacob and who else was, and Peter.
Peter, and then there was Tina and my mom.
Tina, yes.
Susie.
Tina, yes.
And David.
David's the youngest one.
Yes.
He married a Hubert girl, yes, yeah. We've been back here now for 9 years, and David was dead already when we came back now, yes, yeah.
So, I got to ask an interesting question about my family.
Yes.
My dad, Jake, your immediately younger brother,
Yes.
married Susie Hubert.
Yes.
Do you know anything about that budding relationship?
Well, not very much. I think I told that to you when somebody was here. Oh, when Jake died, or your mother died, I'm not quite sure. But I remember that Jake, when he proposed to her, you know, and they had been sitting in the bush there, the nursery. And so Jake, your father, asked her, Susie, in case I should ask you, would you marry me? Well, she says, well, don't you ask? That's all I know about it, yes. But of course, in those years it was a no-no to have a girlfriend, you know. That was a no-no at all. You had to do that in secret, yes, yeah. Same with me. I had to do that in secret. I got married in 1940, yeah. But we had to do that in secret.
Oh, so like the courting part was secret, and then
the courting part, yes. Yeah.
And when you were ready, you announced that I'm getting married to her, and then it's out in the open. Is that what?
I know that your dad had a wedding. I mean, usually two preachers at a wedding, and because I sang in one choir, my wife sang in the other choir. We after the choir practice, I usually took her home, and another girl took home. But she always came in the car first beside me. When we took her home, and then I could court her. But otherwise, I don't know too much about your dad, except that he got married, the first of us, 3 boys, yeah.
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 So, Grandpa was a hunter and a fisherman. Do you remember anything about his
I remember that
trips?
That he all at once he shot through the ceiling. Did you hear about that?
Well, you tell us about that.
Well, then, I don't know too much, but he was oiling his gun or fixing his gun, and it went off. Now, I thought it was in the bathroom, but they said it was a different room. But it shot right through the ceiling.
Yeah, I think it was in the bedroom.
In the bedroom, yes, yeah.
And so he shot a hole right through the ceiling.
Right through the ceiling.
Probably
yes.
the roof.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a shotgun, but I'm not sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But he was a great hunter, and that's of course where your dad got it from. My brother Henry got to be a hunter too.
Yes.
But the rest of us boys didn't know. I was never a hunter, nor a fisher. And your dad just loved fishing and hunting.
Yes.
But he got that from the Hubert side a little bit?
He got
Grandpa
that
Hubert.
all from you. My dad never fished in his life until he retired from his store in BC. He retired in BC. And he went fishing lots of times. And
Yeah, he became a very good fisherman.
a very
and
good
hunter.
fisherman, yes. And he didn't like fish so much. But my mother, his wife, she did all the cleaning, yes, yeah. He did a lot of fishing, yes. Henry took him out a lot of times, yes, yeah. But I was never a fisherman or a hunter.
Right. Okay, do you remember any humorous stories about my grandfather and in your dealings with the people in the community here?
No, I don't. There's only one I remember. We were thrashing for Peter Regeers, and Jack Regeer was a beautiful little boy. He must have been about 6, 7 years old, you know. And he was standing like this, and having his hands in the back like this, you know. And Mr. Hubert went and put a little stone in his hand, you know. He thought that was pretty funny. That's about all I remember as far as humor is concerned, yes.
I was talking to John Hubert.
John
here,
Hubert, yes, yeah.
and he was telling me about when you first moved into this area here. I forget, was it Grandpa or the Huberts had a bunch of pigs and some of those pigs drowned in the lake?
No, that wasn't Hubert's pigs.
Okay, it was somebody else's pigs.
Yes, we worked for 2 bachelors, Bob and Chris Roberts, and we lived in their house, a shack. I'll show you a picture of it later on. And we had one big lake right across from John Hubert there, quite a long irrigation lake.
Mm-hmm.
And on one end we took the water for us, for the house, and the
For
other
drinking.
Pardon?
For drinking and
For
for
drinking,
using in
for
that.
everything, wash and drink. And the other end, the pigs drink out of a hole. 20 dead pigs in there. They were Robert's pigs. And of course, everybody had a straw stack, and that's where they slept at night. And otherwise, they roamed all over the place. They weren't fenced in at all. And 20 dead pigs, and we drank that water all winter long.
Wow.
And even after that, a year or so, we had no water to get anywhere.
It's no wonder that you got to 100 years old.
But nobody got sick. Nobody got sick, no. No. God took really good care of us.
Yeah, well, any other
I
things
can't-
that you
no,
could tell us
I
about
can't think about it, no.
about the Huberts
Or even just Coaldale in general. The church was quite large in the beginning, wasn't
We
it?
had 600 members. Now we have 200.
Wow.
Yeah. Of
Yes.
course, we're in a different church in town now, yes.
We walked through the museum yesterday, through the
Did you?
inside of that church.
It's quite interesting.
Very
isn't it?
nice.
Yeah.
And it's a big place.
It's a big place, and of course,
Especially when you think of the fact that it was built, what? In the
the 30s.
in the
In
30s.
the 30s, yes. At first, they had the church on Mr. Dick's place in 4 miles out, you know, in the barn. And then they built this church much smaller than it is now. Yes, and then I remember I helped shingle this church. Yes,
Mhm.
yeah. And we always walked a mile and a half from there. We walked there all the time. And of course, very often people came, and everybody had horses, not cars.
Sure.
In the first part of the 1930s, yes.
And one thing I remember as a little youngster when we came down here, how the mud used to stick underneath the car fenders.
Yes. Oh, yes.
The gumbo here is
Oh,
terrible.
yes. The cars, I mean, the roads weren't even graveled. They were mud. And you had to stop and just get that mud out of there. I remember that.
Yeah.
My dad bought his first car in 1929 Chevy. And I remember they told him to pull the choke out for starting. So he pulled the choke out, and then he pushed it in, and then the tires started. Well, that wouldn't work. We had the choke you used for starting. That's all automatic now, of course.
Sure.
versuchen, Deutsch zu sprechen. Und ich will die Familie Huberts kongratulieren für all die Zusammenkunft und dass es soll hier in Koldel gut gehen. Denn hier ist dieses eine kleine Stadt mit 7000 Einwohnern, aber sonst ist es eine gute Stadt zu leben. Ich bin 101 Jahre alt und ich kann nicht mehr sehr gut Deutsch sprechen, aber verstehen kann ich Hochdeutsch, auch Plattdeutsch. Und das Deutsche ist mir noch immer nah. Das ist eine Sprache von meiner Mutter.
Kannst du auch Russisch sprechen?
Pardon?
Can you speak Russian?
Yes.
Say something
Ich
like
kann auch etwas Russisch sprechen. Как дела? No.
Say that again.
По-русски понимаешь немножко.